Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, or afternoon, whenever you listen. Japan, Germany, Poland, Canada. We appreciate all you guys for listening in. Once again, this is GCC, Gotham City Group, and we are here, and today's subject is the hot topic. Miss Sutton, if you please.
All right, y'all. So y'all know how I do when I get up on here. And y'all know I spit real facts, right? So let me go ahead and introduce this topic. So we got Superman's daddy on.
Hey.
And she not too familiar with this topic.
Yeah, because she ain't been feeling so good. So this is the first time she is about to hear this. So if she asking questions or busts out, start laughing and asking, saying what now, you know what's about to go down.
All right. So in latest news, Pastor Jamal Bryant has thought it was a good idea to build a weed factory on New Birth property to try to get more African American men to come to New Birth.
He's going to train them on farming and how to plant and grow and distribute marijuana
On church property.
So Superman's daddy, before we go further, I can hear the wheels turning. Do you want to jump in now and say what you got to say, or you want to wait till we get through?
I'm going to wait.
So, Pastor Jamal Bryant, a.k.a. Doctor, inherited New Birth after Bishop Eddie Long passed away. Okay?
Okay.
One of the largest African American churches in the world.
Mm-hmm. Or especially here in the U.S.
So, he got on an interview and said that because of how big New Birth's property is and that it's owned, that he doesn't see anything wrong growing cannabis. Getting young African American men to come, training them how to grow, how to farm. So his definition of giving people Jesus is training them how to grow and produce and sell drugs.
Oh boy.
Superman, you still with me?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just looking at some of his pictures and things on, I decided to Google him, and I think I'm going to keep my comments to myself. But please continue.
So I have a list of problems with this situation. And
a list? I got a whole dictionary, but go ahead.
Problem numero uno. Let's just start with the fact that you're a public figure.
Very. Like, if there were a top 100 pastors in the world, he's probably in the top 50, say top 10.
But
okay.
Not even just with the pastor title. You're a public figure. And on the last podcast that Miss Yanni Yan and I did, one of the things that we covered is how you're supposed to be in leadership but not living by the example that you're portraying to live by. And I just had to explain to someone younger than me that you don't go to church for the person. You go to church for the word.
Yep.
Right.
Because once you hear the word, you're accountable.
Hello.
So now you come back with your public figure self, and you're going to have people confused as to what God do, what he allow, and what he don't allow, now that you have decided to turn your church property into a cannabis production. And we wonder why people question God. We wonder why our young African American males are behind bars and locked up. It's already scarce men out here now that are actually raising our young man. But now you, as someone that our African American men supposed to be able to look up to.
Did I mention that in conclusive? I'm sorry, Miss Sutton. Not only is he a pastor, but he's also a civil rights activist.
Public figure.
Yeah, but we need to make sure we got all his titles.
No, we don't. He is a public figure. Regardless to what title he carry, he's a public figure out here talking about he about to run a trap house on church property.
Trapped in the church all day, every day.
I'm gonna need you never to do that ever again in your life. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I'm getting a headache. No, don't.
Right. So now we're gonna make a mockery out of Christianity. We're gonna make a mockery out of what God truly stands for, and we have enough people asking questions about God. And you get up in this pulpit every single Sunday, and you think that this is a good idea. So this is what I stated when I found this out. I said, so what are you going to do when you start this weed dispensary project and you get some knucklehead that decide they want to steal it off New Birth's property and go sell it in the street? What happens to the people who don't just want marijuana but decide to take it and lace it?
Oh boy.
Oh, now you got bodies on your hand.
Yep.
Because you thought this was a good idea.
Your boy would love to be a fly on the wall for his judgment day.
Yeah.
Man, listen, what you saying, like, man, listen, for me, after I heard that, I'm like, this dude done lost his whole everlasting mind. Man, listen, I got in there, listen, I started cleaning up my house. I'm like, dude, you tripping. Now, in the same breath, you saying, don't do this, because God said if you do this, you go into hell. But you turn around and like, hey, I think it's cool. Y'all come to church and get Jesus. I'll show you how to be drug dealers. Okay. Yeah. On Judgment Day, Captain, I ain't your judge. I don't even want to be in the facility where you're going to be judged at. Matter of fact, I don't even want to be in the same area, the same state.
Now, here's what we fail to realize. That when you claim that you have been ordained and called by God, not by men, by God, and you go out here and you do the dumbest of crap, because let's be honest, this is stupid.
On so many levels.
There is nothing about this that's intelligent.
Okay.
And you're trying to figure out a way not to bring more people in the church, but you're helping, wait for it, the system lock more of our people up.
You can't say that. That's blasphemous. However, it is what it is at this point, because Here's my thing. I guess it's a cliche. You can take the drug dealer out the street, but you can't take the street out of the drug dealer. Here's my point. And it was made to me publicly today. If you gonna do something, don't have do God and have do something else.
Exactly.
If you gonna be one way, give all your energy and stuff to it. Because as Superman Daddy just said, whether you want to believe in God or not, that ain't our problem. But you gonna have to stand in front of the man at some point.
If you don't stand for something, you gonna fall for anything.
And when you stand in front of him, I would love to hear your explanation on how you brought in more people by telling them you can train them to sell marijuana.
And how you done boosted our jail systems.
But see, you know how they're going to try to spin that, though, right?
Yeah.
But see, you made the earth and everything in it. And see, you know, that's natural and everything because you didn't have to land it. You know what? Somebody pressed the button and opened up, opened the little trap door in the cloud that he's standing on so he could just drop right on down.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let you finish your statement. Just,
And here's the craziness behind it. You couldn't, listen, as screwed up and retarded that I act from time to time.
All the time.
Whatever.
Oh, wow.
You couldn't pay me on any level to get up there and state, hey, I'm a pastor, but I tell you what, if you come here, I'll show you how to cook and sell drugs. Because anybody that grew up in, what do we call them? Some kind a situation where you okay, Superman?
Oh, I'm good.
All right. In some kind of separation where people that you know have sold drugs, and you're going, you see this type of stuff, you don't just stop at one drug. Because as fast as that money comes, you're going to want more. So it won't just stop at the marijuana. You're going to want ecstasy. What is it? Ecstasy. You're going to want fentanyl. You're going to want cocaine.
Cocaine, heroin, marijuana, all of the stuff.
Right.
Yes.
You're going to want to continue because you done got a taste of the fast money. Now, here's what don't nobody tell you. Yeah, you can make fast money quick. Quick, then you can snap your fingers. But
that's where that fast money gonna land you.
That judgment, that judgment. When you get to standing in front of the judge and he tell you, start naming off decades to you, 10, 20, 30, 40. Sound like Mike Epps and All About the Benjamins. 15 to 30 to 35, 38, to 45, 47. That's how many years you're going to look at if they don't give you life. Because here's what they don't tell you. If somebody dies from the drug that you give them, that's a body count. That's like one life. You get 15 body counts, that's either the chair, the needle, or the gas chamber.
And you know what the gas chamber smell like? Pine oil. That's where you're going. Pine oil heaven. You know where I learned that from? Training day.
Yep.
But please continue.
So my whole thing is this is what we've come down to, that we have now started treating Christianity and God like a drug system. Put it down when you ready. Pick it up when you ready.
Yeah.
And again, this is a whole public figure. Don't understand it. Don't want to understand it. But you have so many impressionable lives that are watching you. And this is what you teach. So you couldn't have taken all this land you own and decided to do job training?
Hey! Woohoo! Come on.
You can't be the daddy that some of these young men don't have? You want to introduce them to the drug life, and half of them can teach you more than you can ever teach them. Depending on...
But see, that's the whole thing, though. What you're speaking on is positivity. And let's be realistic. 9 times out of 10, positivity doesn't do what? It doesn't generate that almighty dollar. So if I decide to be a role model to these young men out here who didn't have, the opportunity to have a strong male figure or role model in their lives or whatever, how do I personally benefit or gain from that? But if I teach them something, that's going to come back to me tenfold. Yeah, I'll be able to break them off, depending, but when all is said and done, I got to make sure that I got to make sure that my family is, that my empire, does not fall. Think about it. The music industry and things like, if you ever bother to look back at some of these entertainers, no matter what genre of music that they've come from, 9 times out of 10, there is no happy story.
Mm-hmm.
There is some kind of tragedy. It's some kind of trauma. It's some kind of chaos. And them getting that opportunity to get into the music business was what they were looking for or what they needed. So it's kind of like, okay, I had a messed up childhood, but look at me now. Think about it. When is the last time you recall somebody that had a happy childhood that's been and stayed on top? And even if they did start out that way, tragedy comes somewhere along the line.
Yep.
So, like I said, oh, no, we're not about to, we don't want to train you so that you can possibly go out here and, start your own business and start, building up the community. No, we don't want to do that. We want to bring it right back to where it started. Like I said, I'm going to eat. Don't necessarily care about the rest of y'all. The only reason that I care is because what I put out there, y'all are bringing that back to me.
Exactly, because he gonna be the straight kingpin.
Yep.
So why would I promote positivity? Why would I want to see people come up out of, situations that aren't so great for them, even if I am a public figure?
I mean, I'm just like, this is sad. I mean, this goes right back to talking about the black genocide.
Yep.
How everybody keep talking about it, oh, it's the white man, it's the white man. No.
It's us.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's not. We hold our own race down.
Yep.
And this is exactly what society is looking for. to be able to push us all into one community so that we can what? Kill each other off.
Which we're
Exactly.
doing a fantastic job at, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I just saw a post on, what was it, I believe, Instagram earlier, and more or less like it was a dude, I forgot what his name is, but he said, I don't support Black Lives Matter. He said, because when you really look at it, it's black people that are killing one another.
Mm-hmm.
So how are we talking about Black Lives Matter when it's black on black violence? He said we are the only group of people that cannot seem to come together and get our stuff together. More or less like of all the different races, nationalities, and everything, we're the laughing stock of the world. And I couldn't even be mad at him when he said that, because for me, my whole thing is, if I pull myself up by my bootstraps and I finally become successful and do my thing, as a friend of mine, or whatever I consider our relationship to be, I don't expect you to set me up just because you mad that I made it. What kind of foolishness is that? You should congratulate me just like I would congratulate you. And depending on how close our bond is, I'm probably like, come on, let's do this. We work together. I don't want you to necessarily give me a handout. But if I'm asking you, well, what did you do? I just worked real hard. Don't talk in circles. Because, see, to me, when people talk in circles like that, basically what the message conveys is, well, I made it, I'm successful, and I did what I needed to do, but I don't want you to potentially get one up on me, so I'm going to say something without really saying something, and then you just have to figure it out on your own. But I'm not going to tell you that you have to figure it out on your own. But then I prefer that you not say anything, period.
Yeah.
That's all right. And then when I figure it out and I start doing my thing or whatever, don't wrinkle up your face and be upset. Because remember, you didn't want to break it down to me and everything. So what can I say?
I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like, first of all, nobody was designed in this world to make it on their own.
Okay.
If that was the case, we wouldn't have been born to parents.
True.
Because our parents are our first teachers.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't need teachers to teach us in school. We wouldn't need bosses and managers. We wouldn't need this stuff. The truth of the matter is, people want to talk about, I compare not all of the black race, but a nice portion of it to crabs in a barrel.
Yes.
When you put them together, what are they going to do? Climb all on top of each other trying to get out.
Or pull each other down.
Not realizing that you really could get out if y'all all decided to work together.
Exactly.
But working together went out the window as the generations came along.
Mm-hmm.
Because back in the day, back in slavery, back in this, they had no choice but to work together.
Right.
Working together was the only way they were going to survive.
Right.
All of a sudden, it's become every man for themselves. Well, that's stupid. Because it's never going to be every man for themselves.
Right.
Everybody needs somebody. The point is, what kind of person do you need?
Right.
Because it was Medea who said it best. You have those who are in your life for a reason.
Come on.
And you have those who are in your life for a season. You have to be able to determine what that person is there for. But everybody that comes across your path, that's not an accident. You meet these people for a reason. They have some kind of purpose. Either they a blessing or they a lesson. One or the other.
Exactly.
But
have
that's
to be able to figure out.
Right. Exactly. You have to be able to figure it out. And unfortunately, it does take some of us to go through some stuff before we figure out which one that person is.
Exactly.
But I do not want this public figure to use his platform to sweep yet another generation of African American people under the rug.
Right.
I'm tired of seeing these children being buried. I'm tired of seeing these kids locked up from poor excuses of an example.
Right.
Because we want to blame the kids. Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't.
Right.
If these young men are seeking you for guidance, why not lead them the right way? Teaching them how to grow cannabis is a short-term goal. You want to do something with all that money you sitting on, send some of these kids to college.
Or vocational school.
Help them get a trade.
Thank you. Because, okay, when you look at it like that and you break it down, okay, come on, let's be realistic here. I know good and doggone well that this man does not actually believe that he will be able to set this up and run this effectively, and don't think that eventually the government is not going to get involved some kind of way.
They gonna want their cut too.
Thank you. That's if they don't just take it on. That's if they just don't take it over completely. Because come on now, there is not, and it's very rare. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but let's be realistic here. There is not a facet where the government doesn't have a hand in it some kind of way. The only way that you kind of like come into that kind of situation, you got these people, they're called survivalists or whatever, and they go off the grid. In other words, they can survive out here in the wilderness. They detach themselves from their social security numbers and all this other stuff because they're tired of paying taxes and all this other different stuff. And let's face it, you already know that that's not about to be this man's storyline. So if he actually thinks he's going to be able to pull this off and it's not going to be some, some flies in the ointment somewhere along the line, good luck with that, buddy.
Right, because like you said, the government going to take it one thing. Either it's going to take it out on taxes, or they going to take it out on your people and lock them up.
Right.
Because honestly, what are you doing? What is this?
Right.
Again, a public figure. And this is the kind of people that I'm gonna have to teach my children to stay away from. And it's like I have enough of teaching children about the big bad boogeyman. Now we gotta add you on that list because you being stupid?
Right.
Stupid.
Pretty much.
You don't need money that bad that you really about to sit up here and jeopardize a whole nother generation of people. Because you keep talking about me and young men like you don't know young women want money too.
Right.
Because
I was gonna say, but I guess my whole thing is at the end of the day, who's it really gonna benefit?
New birth. It sure ain't gonna benefit them kids. It's gonna benefit new birth. It's gonna benefit Pastor Jamal Bryant when he decided to go get another multi-million-dollar home.
Right.
When he decided to go get another car.
Right. And heaven forbid, young people that get into this and they end up getting knocked and all this other stuff or whatever, within the first thing, well, they knew what they were getting into when they signed on for this. You painted this picture. It made it seem like everything was going to be peaches and cream, not realizing you were setting them up for failure.
Exactly. Setting them up, canceling out a whole generation.
Right.
It's a lot you doing. And this is the truth be told. People don't realize what you do don't just affect you.
Exactly.
There is a whole nother situation to this. It's just sad. It's truly sad to see what people really think about their own kind.
Mm-hmm.
A thought like that would have never crossed my mind to save my life.
No. Not at all.
But this is what we do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm just feeling so bad because we have bigger issues going on out here. You know,
Yeah.
bigger issues. You know, we have feel so sorry for the family of Tretch.
I'm sorry.
The dancer. Twitch. Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah.
These are the kind of issues that we need to be addressing. This man had a wife, kids, career.
They had just celebrated their ninth wedding anniversary a few days prior.
I mean, this man had a whole situation going on.
Yeah.
It took his life.
Right. But see, that's just it. You never know what's going on with somebody. And you can ask them and they will look you in your face and they will say that they are fine. They'll smile, they'll laugh, whatever the case may be. But you don't really truly know what's going on with them. You know. And like I said, it's heartbreaking. You know. I'm just like, wow. You know, like I have questions. I'm quite sure I'm not the only one that has questions. So, but I'm not going to judge him. That's not for me to do.
Exactly.
My thing is, whatever that man was going through, whatever was tormenting him, was troubling him, or he couldn't seem to get away from, I pray that he's finally at peace. I especially pray for his family because I'm familiar, you know. I'm familiar with that, you know. And it's like, it seems like everything is fine, and then when something like this happens, it's like I said again, here come the questions. Well, you know, mainly why? That's the main question.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And especially when children are involved and you can't even explain to them why daddy did what he did. You know, or why mommy did what she did. You know, then you start to question yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, was it me? Was it something that I did? Was it something that I didn't do? Was it something that I should have done? You know. So, like I said, we just kind of like have to just start really paying attention to people, and, you know, check in on people. Don't just check in or decide to pick up the phone and call because you want to need something, but just call, hey, I just called to see how you were doing, you know, what's going on with you, things of that nature, you know, because you just never know. Sometimes people just need to vent. They just need someone to talk to, you know, but if people always seem like, oh, well, you know, I got this, that, and the third going on, or I'm too busy, this, that, and the third, then that's what causes people to withdraw and more or less like just, you know, pull away from society and everything, and when left to their own devices, unfortunately, this is what happened.
Exactly. And I'm just like, I mean, the whole thing in a nutshell was when I first heard about it, you know, I did not know that it was due to suicide.
I didn't either.
I found out later.
Same here. Same here.
And when I did, I said, oh, wow.
Right.
Because
right.
again,
Exactly.
who are we to judge? But again, this goes back to learning to take care of our people versus ridiculing them, shaming them, or putting them, like, we shame our own people for seeking counseling, for seeking therapy.
That's because that's a sin
You know why?
in the black community.
Do you know why that is? Mainly, the stigma behind that is when you talk about, oh, well, you know, you should get counseling or you should go to therapy and everything. First and foremost, and no disrespect intended, but I'm just going to tell you what I've heard for many years and many reasons of it. First of all, oh, well, that's rich white people stuff right there. Black people can't afford to go to therapy. That's been the one reason or excuse. The other is if it seems like it's deemed necessary for you to go to counseling or you to go to therapy, then that means that it's something mentally wrong with you, that you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't want to admit that there is something going on, that there are some issues there. They just tend to disregard it, sweep it under the rug, or act like it doesn't exist.
Exactly.
And then when it gets to be too much, then there's some serious extremes that are reached. And it's like, when you look like, wow, well, I didn't even realize that that's what was going on with him, or that's what was going on with her, or whatever, you know. Depending, some of y'all knew that stuff. Y'all knew back, you know, like siblings, other relatives, or whatever. You knew back when that this particular individual has some stuff, but 9 times out of 10, you more or less were made to act like everything was normal, everything was fine, didn't address it, and if somebody tried to say something, then all hell broke loose.
Oh, yeah, because, you know, it's that stigma. What goes on in my house stays in my house.
Ain't nothing wrong with that boy. Oh, okay, so this dude is 6'5", walking around with a helmet on, with a diaper, you know, and just, you know, and it's nothing wrong with that. Okay, no, come on now, let's be realistic. You know that he was possibly diagnosed with something some years ago, but here's what happened. Guilt set in.
Mm-hmm.
You felt that it was something that you did or that you didn't do, you know, and rather than admit to the fact and let it be known so that you could get the support that you needed in, you know, having this person around or whatever, you just chose to. And I've heard so many stories where, depending, mothers, more so moms, but mothers, fathers, other relatives were taken out by that individual that had some issues going on because they chose not to reach out and get the support that they needed. No, I'm not going to turn a blind eye and a deaf ear. If I think there's something going on or whatever, I'm going to address it. Prove me wrong. Hey, I think there's something going on here. Prove me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll say, okay, I'll drop it. But until then, that's not normal. That's not right. You know. So,
I totally understand it. It's like, this is the kind of stuff that we have going on, and instead of, and this is the time for public figures to be coming out and standing for what's right.
Exactly.
Instead of you trying to figure out ways to come up with extra cash, you need to be, as a public figure, reach out to this man's wife.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out to this man's children.
Right.
Let these kids know that this ain't the route that they need to take, and figure out how you can really reach back in your community, not how you can set up folks.
Right.
But then this goes back to our crabs in the barrel situation.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I'm on top, why look back?
Right. Create more opportunities, because I'm quite sure that the social working field and whatever, umbrella that specialists regarding mental health and all that other stuff falls under, I'm quite sure that these people are extremely overwhelmed with caseloads and caseloads and caseloads or what have you. And then the bad part about it is they get so overwhelmed that they end up quitting their jobs. Okay, so then what happens? Who comes in and picks up where this person that just resigned left off? Then these cases start going by the wayside. People don't start getting the support and the services and things that they need, And it's like sometimes it's a thing of where, prescription meds might need to be put into play. Sometimes there are other aspects that, could be beneficial. But if more or less like people are kind of like just passing the buck or just acting like it's not there, then. Because to me, it seems like mental health issues are at an all-time high now.
Oh, most definitely.
Like 30 years, I'm going to say maybe like about 30 years ago or so, not so much. But then again, about 30 years ago, I was dealing with my own situation, so I wouldn't have known what was going on in the outside world all like that anyway. So
right,
and I had suffered a major loss, so my mind was out in the atmosphere. But I'm just saying, it's like that's what we need. We don't need more vehicles for, drug transport and things of that nature. We need something set up where we can have more future doctors.
Exactly.
More future lawyers. Some positivity for our community and everything. Because people already look down their noses at us, and then it's like you have those that, no offense, but y'all keep proving their point. I'm tired of being looked at sideways, like as soon as somebody does something, off kilter or whatever, y'all want to paint us all with the same guilty brush. No, not me.
Exactly.
For what? So.
And that's total facts. It's like that's the problem. The problem is you got folks with all this money that don't want to help the community, but steady sitting on their high horse talking about it.
Well, let me tell you why that is. You ready? Because when we get up, we don't want nobody else to get up. You see, a long time ago, it was talked about. Do anybody really know how slavery really got started? It got started because the simple fact is, since everybody want to argue about who the real Jews and stuff, let's go ahead and talk about this right now. Say we were the real Jews. No, I'm just putting it out there. Say we were. Then that would explain a lot, wouldn't it? It would explain why we do the stuff the way we do. For case in point, number one, we're trained to go get the bag. We're not trained to help. Look at every nationality. Asians, Chinese, Japanese, Arabians, Pakistanians, the Israelites, Caucasians, and black folks. Here's a pop-up question. Who is the only race that cannot get along or help each other do anything?
The black race.
Why
is that?
Because
too busy competing with each other.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Too busy trying to be in competition with one another.
And you took it right where I was headed. Because number one, and they gonna hate me for this, black folks are naturally stingy. Yes, I said it.
Say that again. You said it naturally what?
Stingy.
Stingy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we cool. We can put on a good show.
Mm-hmm.
We'll make something look real nice and pretty. But when it's all said and done, we only care about us getting ours. We will pimp out our kids. We pimp out our own mama. Because we have that natural instinct that says, get all you can while you can. And whoever you got to step on to get to the top, that's exactly what you got to do.
Which is exactly what we was talking about dealing with Jamal Bryant. Get all you can while you can.
And here's the problem that I have with that. While you getting all you can, don't think that one of the people up underneath you, somebody ain't about to get jealous.
Right.
That's what
they're plotting.
Come on. Somebody is about to look at it. Whether it's a legalized or illegal situation, somebody gonna have a problem with you. Why? Because the first thing, especially in the black community, to say, you taking food off of my table. You taking money out of my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
This world is big enough for everybody to eat. This is why, number one, churches can't come together. It's all about who has the biggest church, who has the biggest followings. This is why we can't do business together. Because, we'll make it look good for a nice amount of time. We'll make it look very well.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, somebody gonna get jealous.
Exactly.
And when that somebody get jealous, that's when all hell gonna break loose.
Exactly.
And mark my words, it won't be a little bit. It won't be an accident.
And it won't be halfway.
Right. It will be an unfiltered, all-out war. Because when it goes down, back to an early episode of child support, the woman can do wrong. She could have been the one cheating. But because she done had a kid and she decides she wants child support, he gonna have to pay. His rights will be limited to either weekends or a couple of days a week. Why am I saying that? We are greedy, we are maniacal, and we are manipulative. White people can come together, 2 seconds later, they'd have built a whole city. Black folks can't even agree on a slice of pizza. But
or settling up the tab if they go out to eat.
Huh?
Or settling up the tab if they go out to eat.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a sad situation because ultimately this is what it boils down to. You got all these folks chasing money, but what they don't realize is while you trying to get all this money and get to the top, understand that when it's all said and done, can't none of it go with you.
Hello.
Right. Not only can you not take it with you, but that'll be one of the main reasons that if it doesn't take you up out of here, it'll have you somewhere where you don't want to be. Say it with me, people. Behind bars.
Yep.
Listen, I just saw a video on Facebook the other day, and it says, and it's crazy, we talked about it. It said, while you out there getting all the jewelry, you can't take it with you. Naked you came onto this planet, and naked you will leave.
Exactly.
So I could go out, build as many banks to hold as much money as possible. But as I told you on another episode of the podcast, that couldn't do nothing for me last year when I was laying up in the hospital. Couldn't breathe, couldn't walk, could hardly talk. So why am I trying to get all I can, and as soon as I get a health problem, it can't do nothing for me? Yeah, money can open up doors for you. Money can tell you where you can live. But as I told you on another episode, LeBron James is a billionaire. And what happened when he wasn't there? What they spray painted on his house? And if they do that to a billionaire, what you got coming? And see, a lot of times, and I'm about to say this, and I'm about to back out because y'all about to get mad. It don't even have to be somebody of an opposite nationality to spray paint the word "in" on my house.
Thank you.
And that be the whole thing. That the whole point is, we got to stop this mess. We got to stop playing with God, because it's awfully funny that now we want to toy with him. But when he was our only option, when we was getting our behinds kicked,
Hello.
that's the first person we calling on. But now that he done answered our prayers and gave us our blessings, now we don't know him. Now we want to go out here and just do whatever we want to do until the next time we get ourselves in trouble.
Right.
Then it's, oh, well, God, if you get me out of this, I never do this again.
Treat them like a prostitute.
Right.
Meanwhile, we want to say his name in the pulpit while we taking down the community by starting drug paraphernalias. Meanwhile, you got a whole family grieving the loss of a man because either they were unaware or they didn't know how, because of the stigma that comes with being black. What goes on in my house stays in my house. If you need to be, why you need to be sitting on a white man couch to talk, and why the therapy office's couch got to be black? That's racist. Huh? So people whose lives, people whose lives potentially could have been saved, they done took their own life because they felt like it was no other option.
Exactly.
Because where's the help in the black community? Oh no, you go talk to one person in your business all the way out in the street.
Exactly.
It could be your mama. Did I say that? Yeah.
Listen, I was just,
Excuse me, I was saying one of two things. Either one, your business is put out all in the street for everybody and their mama to know about, or one of the possibly worst offenses on the same level is it's diminished. Like, oh, what you going through? Oh, that ain't that serious. That ain't that. No, maybe it's not that serious to you, but obviously it must be serious to the person that's going through it. And to more or less diminish it and to belittle them and to make them feel like what they're going through really isn't all that important or whatever, that just adds fuel to that fire.
oh yeah,
Because if they choose to open up to you, and instead of you trying to give things a positive spin or get them to look at the bright side, you want to, you want to send negativity their way. Congratulations. If they was close to the edge, you just pushed them.
exactly. And that's what gives me, like, I'll never forget, I was at a meeting one time, and I made the statement. I said, well, I know God's real as much as I've been through in the little amount of time that I've been here.
Mm-hmm.
And it was somebody who commented and said, oh, girl, you ain't been through nothing yet.
How you know?
Thank you.
How you know?
Thank you.
Have you been in my life the whole entire time that you know?
Uh,
You
Come
know?
on, somebody.
If you don't know, please shut up.
But
And that's where I'm at. Because you would look at me and naturally believe that I am the happiest person in the world. Nobody knew until I actually tell you that for over 20 years, I struggled with suicide and depression. Tried to commit it. A whole lot. And if it wasn't for God and these two that you hear on this podcast, I don't know where I would be.
yeah, I need people to stop saying that age mean you ain't been through nothing.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because there you go
you
right
too
there.
young to. Oh, you too young to. You couldn't possibly know. Yeah, okay. If you say so.
And the thing about it is, it's always you too young for something until something happens.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you just you ain't even grown the back yet.
Oh, and then here's the proof in the pudding. Here's a 40-year-old man that's gone
Yeah.
because somebody didn't listen. Somebody didn't see the signs. Somebody shamed him for needing help. Somebody swept mental illness or whatever he was struggling with under the rug. Because this didn't just start.
Right.
Nope.
This been going on, and he ain't been grown that long.
He only 3 years older than me.
So somebody dropped the ball. And unfortunately, now his wife and his children are left with the aftermath of what potentially could have been solved if it wasn't such a sin in the black community to ask for help.
Yeah.
Right.
Or if we quit using cliches like, well, what goes on in my house stays in my house.
Where did y'all get
Well, let me go ahead and just
Ma'am.
bust this bubble.
Who-
It
who-
might
who
be
came
your
up with
house.
I have no idea who came up with that load of crap.
It might be your house that's causing me all the stress and anxiety. Oops.
that? Say it again so that the people in the back can hear you.
It might be your house that's causing me the stress and anxiety. Oops.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, we got public figures out here trying to figure out how to take down more people in the black community. And then we
Right.
got others burying family members because of lack of support and help in the black community.
Right.
But we can't say that though.
Oh no. Oh wow.
So, from the Gotham City crew, you guys, our hearts and our prayers go out to the family. We are definitely going to keep you guys in prayer. And please try to remember, this wasn't y'all fault. It wasn't like he really wanted to leave you guys. But he's always with you. As for Pastor Jamal Bryant, I pray to God that you rethink this decision before you cause a whole out war at New Birth.
Not only that, all the souls that you gonna lead straight into the hell's fire.
And on that note, I'm Mrs. Sutton.
I'm King Solomon Jr.
And I'm Superman's daddy.
Until the next episode, guys. Peace.
Peace.